Hi, my name is Leah Day, and welcome to this Light Up Your Life video. This week, I kind of got into an argument with my son. Actually, it's been kind of an ongoing argument since the beginning of the school year. It's about two things: piano practice and reading. With piano practice, we started piano lessons this summer, and he's really very good, and I want him to stick with it and keep practicing. And then reading, he's in second grade. He needs to be reading every single day, too. And so the argument that we've been having is James wants to put all of his practice time into one day for like an hour and a half to do all of it in one go and then not have to deal with it at all for the whole rest of the week and not have to have me nag him about getting on that piano or picking up a book and reading. So the thing I keep telling him though is, James, that's not how you build skill. And I know this from learning quilting and becoming a quilting teacher too, is that there's a very big difference between my students that have their machine set up and ready to practice every single day, ready to quilt every single day, and for those people that don't have that ability or don't have the space or just simply always have that mentality to store up time and try and do everything in one go on one day. And I don't know where you fall within that spectrum, but the fact of the matter is, I have a lot of experiences with myself. When I was growing up, I did not have a sewing machine that was just out and ready to stitch on. It was kind of tucked away in the back of the closet. And so in order to get ready to sew something, pull out the machine, pull out the fabric, pull out the bins, spread it all out. It's all over the kitchen table, creating a lot of chaos and a lot of mess. And there's, people coming in and out of my space, constantly interrupting me. So even if I have that whole Saturday afternoon to devote to it, I'm constantly being, made to go do the dishes and, go do that project, or just, even just having someone come in and say, hey, what are you working on? That's a distraction. And so my skill level really changed the most when I moved in with Josh. We had a little apartment together, and that was the first time that I had my sewing machine out and on a table and always set up and ready to go. So instead of having that, several hours of kind of pulling everything out and getting comfortable time, I could just sit down and start stitching. And that was such a revolution. All of a sudden my skills started going, just increasing so rapidly because for the first time I could hop on the machine and in 10 minutes stitch something out and see some progress. And that's really, I think, the most important thing. It's hard to see progress, of course, in terms with my son James, with reading and piano playing. There's no like marker, there's no finished project. Well, you could finish a book, but there's no finished project at the end of it. With quilting, we at least can see some fruits of our labors. We can say, hey, I stitched this whole little 4-inch square. I stitched this little design. I was able to try that and practice that. And I think that's really the key. I think that really is the difference between the people that jump into free motion quilting and are proficient and ready to quilt their own quilts and confident within a few months, and those that get into it and then even 2 or 3 years later you're still going, I'm not comfortable with this, and I'm not ready to put that on a real quilt. And I really encourage you, if you don't have your machine out right now where you can sit down and stitch at any time, try and find a place that you can set it up and make that happen. I'm giving you permission to look around your house and consider how things could change and how you could have that space for yourself. Even if it's a closet. I have set up my machine in the most wacky places over the years, just simply because that was the space that I had and I had to make do. And sometimes we have to make do with what we have. And sometimes you need permission to give yourself something a little bit better. So I'm giving you that. Look around your house, see what you can change, but then also change the way you're practicing. Instead of, trying to hoard time, because you can't save time, it just doesn't work that way. Instead of trying to hoard time and say, oh, I'm going to get everything done and have everything solid and everything put aside so that all Saturday I can stitch out and have tons of fun working on this. Instead of that mentality, which really doesn't work, you're always going to get interrupted. You're always going to have that time stolen away from you by something. Instead of that, get on your machine and practice every day for 10 minutes. Set a timer if you have to. Sit down and stitch something, whether it's piecing, free motion quilting, walking foot quilting, I don't care what it is. Work on something for a minimum of 10 minutes. And I promise you'll see two things. Number one, you'll see a lot more getting done. You'll see more progress with your projects. And number two, you'll see a lot more skill being built. I promise. So definitely try that out, and I hope that this has lit up your life today and given you permission to change things and start building skills in ways that you really want to. I still haven't convinced my son yet. I'm not going to nag him. I'm just going to let that flow, but I think the number one key with him is taking away his Game Boy. So I'm off to do that. Until next time, let's get moving. Let's try something new.